Good morning, guys. Well, I'll tell you, I've been tagged again, and that's why I'm calling this Mrs. Monchichi Gets Revenge. I had tagged her in the 14 question, tagged her and Little Larry. For those of you that know the Monchichis, if you haven't gone over and watched their channels, check them out. They're really pretty funny, and Monchichi and Little Larry, you never know what those two are going to do. Anyway, I believe, if I understand it right, this tag is about 3 things that people don't know about me. And I'll start with, I, I mention a lot that I used to live here, I used to live there, and so it makes it sound like I've moved many, many times and lived in so many cool places. But I was born in Fort Dodge, Iowa. I was 6 months old when my parents moved to Southwest Kansas, and so this is where I was essentially raised. Um, then, when I was in a freshman in high school, we moved to Central Kansas for a couple of years, and a senior in high school, we moved to a suburb of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And that's where I graduated high school and uh, got my RN. And then I moved back to Southwest Kansas, and my sister and I both moved back here. And married guys we didn't know growing up, but this is where we chose to raise our families. Um, I'm also an RN. I it was actually the first nursing program that was offered at the little community college that I went to, Normandale Community College in Bloomington, Minnesota. And I got my RN there, my associate's degree, and immediately moved back to Southwest Kansas as soon as I graduated. And it worked out pretty well because I was able to live at home, and the college was only a couple miles from home, so I rode my bike and walked quite a bit to school. Um, I've worked in hospitals, doctor's offices and clinics, with special ed kids, but my longest stint, whatever, was at the health department. And I ended up I think I was there for 29 or 30 years. I also did OB call as an OB nurse. Our little hospital doesn't have that many deliveries, so it was only 2 or 3 days a month that I got called in to help with delivery. I'm graduated. I started out with my associates, and then when our third son was going to college, I went back then and got my bachelor's degree in nursing, which had always been something I wanted to do. Our youngest was a senior in high school, so I went back to school and got my bachelor's. And one of the greatest honors for a mom was that I graduated at the same time as our third son. So that was that's always been very special to me. I ended my career at the health department. I was the director of or administrator, whatever you want to call it, of the health department for 9 years. And I'm telling you guys, I'm a horrible boss. I'm a good worker. I'm just a horrible boss. I don't like drama, and there's always too much drama with that. Plus all the stress. Anytime you work for the government, there's lots of stress. So we'll go on from there. It'll be 42 years. What is today? Today's December 2nd. Our anniversary's in 2 days. It'll be 42 years on December 4th. We've almost always lived out here on the farm. When we were first married, we lived in town for a few years until we could get a house built out here. We raised all 4 of our kids out here. It's the best life for a kid. All of them want to raise their children the same way out in the country and get a lot of fresh air, exercise, and working with animals. So Our daughter is our oldest, and I think she popped into one of my videos the other day. And our daughter was married to a man that already had a very young daughter. So we were blessed with a granddaughter when our daughter got married. Her and her husband tried to have a family. Their first child was stillborn, and they weren't able to have children after that. So we are so blessed to have our granddaughter. She now has 2 children of her own, so that makes me a great grandma, and love it. My great grandkids are age, oh golly, let me think, 6 months and a year, and well, those of you that are grandparents, you know how special that is. Our oldest son, he lives in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, and him and his wife have 1 girl. She's 6, that's our granddaughter, and she's the light of our life. Our third child, our second son, was killed in a car accident back in 2011. And then our youngest son lives in the Columbia, Missouri area, and he and his wife are expecting their first child in January. So they're having a boy. So we'll have our 2 granddaughters and a grandson. And of course, we're looking forward to that. And guys, I'm going to take this time right now to thank all of you. I just, for subbing and watching my videos. I know they're all over the place, but that's my life. And I started this for fun. Really didn't think anybody would be interested in watching, so it's such an honor when someone takes the time to watch my video. And the best part is all the comments. I love getting to know all of you, and it would be grand if we could meet someday. It's been so much fun for me to chat with you, talk with you through the comments, and I just can't thank you enough for being along and watching this. Thanks, guys.